I wanted to lose weight. That's such a historical thing that, to share my story here, being put on the hormonal birth control pills from age 16, I've pretty much been an overweight person since then as well, in terms of, just calculations, but also how I feel about my weight. And then so focused on motherhood that I just kind of accepted the weight gain as, the cliche mommy weight that, the baby weight, so to speak, that you need to lose. But I am looking to prime my body to be as healthy as possible going into menopause and going into, next chapters of my life, physically, emotionally, spiritually, so it became a lot more than that, and this program and really opened my eyes to that. But I did lose about 45 pounds.
Boom.
Boom. So I'm not going to be shy about, being happy about that.
I guess create that process and that structure have allowed you to lose that weight steadily, sustainably, and to be able to adapt to that. And that's what I think is the most important thing, is that we, when it comes to health, we always look at the end result and we don't pay attention to the process as much, or we want to shortcut that process. And that's kind of what's got us in, just as Americans, into the place that we are, is that we just always want to get rid of something or not deal with it, versus working through the hard stuff. And I know that it sounds like the worst way or the hard way, and it's not the easy way. I'm not going to lie about that. But if you would have crash dieted and lost 45 pounds on, I don't know, just throw something out there, severe calorie restriction and, doing 5 hours of cardio every day.
Yeah.
How would you be able to keep that up? Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's totally a 90s, early thousands thing. I mean, that's why there's so many metabolisms in the, 40-year-old category that are ruined right now, because we put all this stress on us. And that's the thing, is that you have to look at work stress, emotional stress, your time management, your workouts, even the wrong foods, are all those different kinds of stress. And so if you throw some severe caloric restriction, which is a huge stressor, especially on women's bodies, into the mix, and then you throw 5 hours of cardio on that per week too, that's another stress. And so that's what my whole program, I feel, is about, is these sustainable small habits that we can continue to build that are actually anti-stress, and they actually help your body kind of go back into that relaxation mode. So you're able to clear up more bandwidth, like you're talking about.
Yeah. And work with your body instead of against your body. I know that might sound cheesy commercially, but to the point, I can remember myself being, all about, career and going out to happy hour. And if I wasn't at happy hour, it's because I was working out to train for a triathlon or something. And, that's the only other time that I can think of that I was this weight or close to it. But my body, my life and my mind are completely different, but my body is even losing weight in a very different way than it did before. And I remember asking you early on, I was my wrists are getting skinnier, my forearms, I'm losing weight in weird places. And I remember just having conversations with you about fasting and intermittent fasting, which is something that was new. But just, seeing different ways that my body is definitely reacting to this kind of exercise and this kind of protocol, much differently than I did in the past.
And I'm just going to compare the two. How much harder was your life, time-wise, energy-wise, when you were doing triathlons, to be at this weight than what you're doing now?
Man, it's almost impossible to quantify or qualify it, but it was hard. And honestly, I think my life is harder now, but I was working so much harder at it then. Then, I didn't have a child then, I didn't have a dog, I didn't have, a lot of the similar things going on. But yeah, my life is so much easier now that I have these tools and that I was able to reset, because I know I can reset every day. I know I could reset at any moment for, behavior that I know is the best for me. So it's really just having those tools instead of just kind of keeping up with some goal, I guess, because it was always just about lose weight or train to win or get promoted. And now it's just like, no, I just, I still have goals, but my life isn't so goal driven. It isn't working so hard just to achieve something. It's more just to allow my body to be its best in order to go about my life. And it's a lot easier now. I'm a lot happier now.
Right. Yeah. And that's I think another thing that I always I want to deliver to people is so they can realize that they don't have to do some of these like really crazy intense things to get results. Because I think that's what we're kind of sold by, the workout industry and food companies and all these things, is that we have to do these really extreme behaviors to get anywhere. And like I said, that just creates a lot of stress. And so it's like those incremental changes that you can make over time and having that structure. I kind of like how you were talking about how you can kind of reset the next day. And I think that's another thing that a lot of people get into, is this all or nothing mentality. Either I'm going to be doing 5 hours of cardio every week, or I failed and I'm bad, or whatever. Where it's like, I'm kind of like, try to get this many steps in a day, get your morning walk in. And we do some really cornerstone behaviors that are kind of like you weave into your life. And then, like you're saying, they kind of get put on autopilot, and now it's just part of you. It's not something you have to think about. And that's what I've realized with myself. And that's kind of like how I started creating this plan. It's like, okay, well, what habits have I adopted over these past 10 years that have been able to be sustainable, that have been doable for most people? A lot of them are actually free, like drinking water, relatively free. Like it's not free, but think about the price of water. Exactly. Bingo. Walking, most people can still walk, and it's free. It costs you a pair of tennis shoes. Meditating, you can meditate for almost free, like if you want to. Most people have a phone these days. And then just, choosing better at the grocery store. I think it's funny. I have one friend that talks about how she always buys these vegetables, but then she never knows what to do with them. So she throws them out all the time. And, just the amount of food waste is actually like 30% in the United States. So it's one of those things to me where, people buy things with like empty promises to themselves, thinking like, okay, if I do this, then I will do it. But then they end up wasting that money. And I guess those are the dollars that we don't think about or don't see as much. And it actually ends up costing you a lot more to be unhealthy than to just do some small incremental changes and hold true to them. It's that consistency that really wins over.
Oh yeah.